Everyone laughed at our $10 tiny Hobbit house until my son unlocked the underground vault. The old man sold us the house for $10. Not $10,000, not a down payment. 10 actual dollars. And everyone in town thought we were idiots. "Congrats on your dirt hole," one guy shouted while we unloaded our bags. My son Oliver laughed nervously beside me, pretending it didn't hurt his feelings. But I saw his smile fade. That was the moment I knew I had to make this disaster work. The tiny Hobbit house sat buried into a grassy hill outside town, half covered in moss like it had been forgotten for 100 years. The round green door barely opened. The windows looked crooked. The chimney leaned sideways like it wanted to quit life completely. Honestly, the place looked like a potato with windows. But after losing my apartment, my savings, and my job in the same month, this weird little underground house was all we had left. And somehow, it felt magical. "Mom," Oliver whispered while staring at the hill. "What if there's treasure under here?" I laughed. "Buddy, if there's treasure, it's probably mold." He grinned. That grin saved me more times than he'll ever know. Inside, the house smelled like old books, wet wood, and mystery. Tiny lanterns hung from the ceiling. The rooms curved like tunnels underground. Every shelf was built directly into the walls. It looked less like a house and more like someone's secret. The townspeople kept visiting just to mock us. One woman literally took selfies outside our door. "Oh my God," she laughed. "It's like homeless Lord of the Rings." Her friends exploded laughing. I smiled politely while imagining throwing them into the nearby pond. That night, Oliver and I sat on the floor eating canned soup beside the fireplace. The fire crackled softly. For the first time in months, life felt quiet. Then Oliver noticed scratches on the wooden floor. "Mom." I looked over. "What?" "These marks." I leaned closer. Long scrape lines crossed the floorboards near the fireplace, like something heavy had been dragged over them hundreds of times. "Probably old furniture," I said. But Oliver kept staring. Kids notice things adults ignore. That's dangerous sometimes. The next morning, we started cleaning outside. The hill behind the house was packed with wild flowers and giant stones. Oliver climbed on one of the rocks and shouted dramatically, "I am king of the hobbits." I bowed respectfully. "Your Majesty, your kingdom smells suspiciously like wet dirt." He laughed so hard he almost fell off the rock. Then his foot hit something metal. Clang. We froze. Oliver jumped down and brushed away dirt with his hands. A rusty iron ring stuck out from the ground. "Mom?" I knelt beside him. Buried under the dirt was a small metal hatch. My stomach tightened instantly.
"Don't open it," I said. "Why?" "Because every horror movie starts exactly like this." Oliver rolled his eyes. Together, we pulled the hatch open. Cold air rushed upward. There was a ladder, leading underground. Far below us, hidden in darkness, a faint yellow light flickered. Not sunlight, not reflection. A real light. Oliver whispered, "Someone's down there." My heart started pounding. We slowly climbed down the ladder into the narrow tunnel below the house. The deeper we went, the colder it became. Dirt walls surrounded us. Old pipes rattled overhead. Then we reached the bottom. A massive steel door stood in front of us, and carved into the center was one strange symbol, a golden key. Before I could speak, Oliver touched the symbol. Click. The entire underground tunnel shook violently. Dust exploded from the ceiling. And somewhere behind the steel door, something unlocked itself.
Tell me where you're watching from. I'm curious to know. And if this mystery already has you hooked, don't forget to like and subscribe, because things are about to get unbelievable. Part 2. The steel door groaned open slowly. Dust floated through the air like smoke. I grabbed Oliver's arm immediately. Stay behind me. Mom, if there's treasure in there, I deserve at least 20%. You're getting a sandwich if we survive. The door finally stopped moving. Behind it sat a long underground chamber, lit by flickering yellow bulbs hanging from the ceiling. Old wooden shelves lined the walls. Strange machines rusted in the corners. Metal pipes stretched overhead like spider legs. And right in the middle of the room stood a giant vault. An actual vault. Oliver's eyes nearly exploded. No way. I couldn't even speak. Who builds a secret vault under a tiny hobbit house? The answer came faster than expected. A framed black and white photograph hung beside the vault door. I wiped dust off the glass. The picture showed a group of men standing beside the exact same hill decades earlier. One of them held blueprints. Another wore a military uniform. But the man in the center made my blood run cold. I recognized him instantly. Mayor Bennett. Or at least a much younger version of him. That's impossible, I whispered. The current mayor of town was at least 80 years old now. But in the photo, he looked maybe 30. Oliver stared closer. Mom, why is there a date? My stomach tightened again. 1958. This underground chamber had been hidden for nearly 70 years. Then we heard footsteps above us. Thump. Thump. Someone was inside the house. Oliver looked terrified. I quickly turned off the hanging lantern beside us. Darkness swallowed the chamber instantly, except for one weak yellow bulb near the vault. The footsteps continued overhead. Slow. Heavy. Then a floorboard creaked directly above us. Whoever it was, they were standing over the fireplace, exactly where the hidden tunnel entrance sat. I held my breath. Oliver squeezed my hand so tightly it hurt. Then we heard a voice. Mayor Bennett. You shouldn't have opened it, he said quietly. Every hair on my body stood up. How did he know? The old man coughed upstairs. You people never listen. Oliver's eyes widened in panic. The mayor knew about the vault the entire time. Then, something even worse happened. The vault beeped. One small green light suddenly flashed alive beside the door. Beep. 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 Oliver looked confused. I didn't touch anything. The giant vault door slowly unlocked itself. Metal bolts retracted, one by one. Clank. 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 The mayor stopped moving upstairs. Silence. Then his voice changed completely. Not old anymore. Not weak. Afraid. No, he whispered. The vault opened 3 inches. Inside, stacks of gold bars reflected the yellow light. My jaw literally dropped. There had to be millions inside. But the gold wasn't the worst part. Folders. Hundreds of folders. Documents, photographs, names. The top folder fell open onto the floor. Inside was a list of people from town. Every name had a number beside it. Payments, bribes, missing money. And at the very top of the page, Mayor Bennett. Oliver whispered, "Mom, this is illegal stuff. Very illegal stuff." Suddenly, the hidden tunnel door upstairs slammed shut. Boom. Then locks clicked into place above us. The mayor trapped us underground. I ran toward the ladder but stopped instantly. Smoke drifted down from the ceiling. My chest tightened. "He's burning the house," I whispered. Oliver's face turned pale. The old mayor's voice echoed through the tunnel one last time. "If I lose that vault," he shouted, "nobody leaves alive." Heat started pouring into the underground chamber. The wooden beams above us began cracking loudly. And behind us, the giant vault door slowly opened all the way, revealing something far more terrifying than gold. A second tunnel. Fresh footprints covered the dirt floor. Someone else had already been inside recently. And deep in the darkness, we heard a child crying. Part 3. The crying echoed through the second tunnel. Soft, weak, terrified. Oliver looked at me immediately. "We have to help them." Smoke continued pouring from the ceiling above us. The heat kept getting worse every second. Parts of the wooden beams were already snapping. We had two choices: run toward the fire, or run toward the crying. Honestly, neither option felt great. I grabbed one of the old lanterns from the wall. "Stay close to me." We entered the second tunnel carefully. The air became colder the deeper we walked. Unlike the dusty vault room, this tunnel looked newer, cleaner. The dirt floor had fresh footprints everywhere. Someone had been using this place recently. Very recently. The crying suddenly stopped. Complete silence. Oliver whispered, "That's worse." "Yep." The tunnel curved sharply left. Then we saw light ahead. A hidden underground room appeared at the end of the passage. But this room wasn't old. It looked lived in. Fresh blankets covered a small bed. Empty food cans sat on shelves. Battery lanterns glowed softly beside stacks of newspapers. And sitting in the corner was a little girl, maybe 8 years old. She hugged her knees tightly and stared at us with terrified eyes. The second she saw me, she started crying again. "It's okay," I said gently. "We're not going to hurt you." Oliver stepped forward carefully. "What's your name?" "Emma." Her voice barely came out. "Who are you hiding from?" I asked. Emma looked toward the tunnel behind us. The old man. My stomach dropped instantly. Mayor Bennett. He said bad people would take me if I left. Oliver frowned. "That's insane." Then Emma said something that made my blood run cold. He told me my parents abandoned me. I froze completely. "How long have you been down here?" Emma counted quietly on her fingers. "Since Christmas." Christmas was 6 months ago. My legs almost gave out. The mayor kidnapped this little girl, and nobody knew. Suddenly, we heard another loud crack above us. The fire was spreading fast.
Smoke drifted into the hidden room now. Oliver rushed over to Emma immediately. "We're getting you out." But Emma shook violently. "He'll find us." "No," I said firmly. "Not this time." Then footsteps echoed through the tunnel. Heavy. Slow. Coming toward us. The mayor. Oliver grabbed my arm. "Mom." I quickly looked around the room. One exit. No windows. Nowhere to run. The footsteps got closer. Then Mayor Bennett appeared at the tunnel entrance holding a shotgun. The old man looked completely different now. His eyes were wild. Sweat covered his face. Smoke curled behind him. "You should have stayed poor," he growled. Emma started sobbing instantly. The mayor pointed the shotgun toward us. "That vault was supposed to stay buried forever." I stepped in front of the kids. "You kidnapped her." "I protected her," he screamed. The man sounded completely insane. "She saw things she shouldn't have seen." The ceiling above us cracked loudly again. Burning wood crashed somewhere behind him. The entire Hobbit house was collapsing, but the mayor didn't care. He only cared about the vault. Then, Oliver did something I'll never forget. My son picked up a rusty metal shovel beside the wall and threw it directly at the mayor's face. Whack! The shotgun fired into the ceiling by accident. Dirt exploded everywhere. The mayor crashed backward into the tunnel wall, screaming in pain. "Run!" I shouted. We grabbed Emma and sprinted through the smoke-filled tunnel as the underground chamber collapsed around us. The heat became unbearable. Dirt rained from the ceiling. Behind us, the mayor screamed our names furiously. Then suddenly, boom! The tunnel exploded behind us. The gas pipes. Fire blasted through the underground vault like a bomb. The shockwave threw all of us forward onto the grass outside the Hobbit house. We rolled across the hill, coughing violently. Behind us, flames swallowed the tiny Hobbit house completely. And standing near the fire trucks arriving in the distance were dozens of townspeople staring at us in total shock. The same people who laughed at our little dirt house. Now, they watched police drag Mayor Bennett away in handcuffs, while officers uncovered millions in stolen gold beneath the hill. But honestly, the treasure didn't matter anymore. Because weeks later, Emma officially moved in with us. And for the first time, our strange little family finally felt complete. Sometimes the people laughing at you have no idea what treasure you're sitting on. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more mystery stories with shocking twists.